welcome, listeners. We are super excited to have Jenny White in on our talk today. She is a relationship coach and therapist, and she shows women how to create fulfilling relationships by standing more in their femininity, communicating their needs with confidence and grace, and building true intimacy. So excited to have you here, Jenny. Welcome.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be on your podcast. Thank you so much.
Oh, I always love connecting with you. And for those of you that are listening, Jenny and I have been friends for many years now. We've actually met in person at a conference. What was that? Was that a Celebrate Your Life conference?
Yes, in Arizona. Will you believe it? It's like 6 years ago, I think. Yeah,
I
6 years
know.
ago. Unbelievable.
Wow, geez. And I remember you came clear from the UK, and I was like, wow, it was incredible.
It is, isn't it? We were definitely meant to meet. Definitely.
Yeah.
It
And I'm
was one
so
of those things, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yes.
totally. One of the things that Jenny and I have been talking about is a lot around having what she talks about called the Queen's mindset. And I love it because it just has such a strong feel being a queen in your life and in your business. And so you want to go into a little bit of detail about what the Queen's mindset is exactly.
It's really interesting because as a relationship coach and therapist, you try to really understand what the needs of women are in a relationship. And what often comes up is that women say, I want to be treated like a queen. Jen, I want to be treated like a queen. I want that he's really seeing my worth and things like that. And at the beginning, I remember a few years ago when I heard queen, I felt like really triggered. And I thought, what do they mean? He has to put you on a pedestal and adore you and take you out for expensive dinners and everything like that, because women would reflect on that too. But I thought, no, let's explore that a little bit more. What does the queen actually mean really for women? And they were like, yeah, I want to build really hard connection. I want that he sees my self-worth. I want that somebody is really open and true to me, and honest to me, right? That he carries my heart in a way that I don't have to be fearful that he will drop it or play with it or smash it to bits. I don't want to be hurt anymore. I want to find somebody who's devoted.
Wow.
And then I thought, I get it, right? That's what we want. We don't only want somebody who says, ah, yeah, you will do. We want to have somebody who's excited and thinks, yes, I'm with you. This is amazing. And queen energy, I explored that and played around with it a little bit too, is really showing up for ourselves in the best possible way. Be the best possible partner too, and be the best version of yourself and the best friend of yourself. Confidence and grace. And that's the reason why I always say to my ladies who come to me, I work with the 3 principles. I always say queens don't lose their rag. So what does that mean? RAG, responsibility, authenticity, and grace. Combination of it, right? We take responsibility on how we approach life, how we grow, how we deal with heartbreaks and obstacles, and our self-worth. And of course, authenticity is important because women want to be loved for who we really are, not somebody we have to pretend to be to lure him in and hope and keep fingers crossed, right, that he will stay when he knows who we are, our goofy, weird selves, maybe. And it's really not being scared of being authentic. Really rock that boat, be a little bit more spicier in your approach. And then grace, of course, have manners, be empathetic, walk away when it's so tempting to stay.
So boundaries and really giving yourself a value, a high value and worthiness. I love that. So when you're thinking about, because when you were talking about authenticity too, since most of my listeners are entrepreneur women, it's like that. How do we stay within that queen mindset? Like when we're like, go, 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 and that masculine energy in business, how do we stay true to ourselves and be authentic to our femininity while
Yeah.
still trying to do that, business, masculine
Yeah.
business side?
It is, isn't it? Because if you think about that, the queen has been sold to us in totally wrong.
Mhm,
So the strong, independent woman
mhm,
goes out and she makes things happen, and she's this businesswoman, fantastic mother, amazing lover. She just goes for things. She sets goals, she hits them, and that's it. Go,
mhm,
go, go, like you said. That's not femininity.
mhm,
So we try to use masculinity to actually really achieve short-term goals, which is understandable. But authenticity in our femininity gets lost in this world because we think it's weakness, it's
Ah,
vulnerability, it's vulnerability. It's like saying, okay, I take a day off today because I'm exhausted.
mhm,
These days I come across ladies who go, 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 go. And then,
mhm,
Jen, I'm so exhausted. And then their relationships are in turmoil because something has to give, right? You can't be perfect
mhm.
and make millions, be the amazing lover and the doting
And
mother,
cook and everything else. Yeah.
everything from scratch and organic
Yeah.
and all of
Mhm,
those things.
mhm,
It's really being realistic with that. And
mhm,
femininity is actually so fantastic and receiving. We forget that.
mhm,
Today's mindset about go, 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 don't rest, don't sleep, get it done, be successful. And look what I'm a successful woman. I do get it.
mhm,
But sometimes we have to really pace ourselves. Femininity is leaning back, stepping back, and let things come to you. It's almost like women are planting seeds and fertilizing, and everything is growing like crazy, but
mhm,
we are too scared to actually reap the rewards. It's also leaning back, let it come to you, become a listener in a world full of noise,
mhm,
especially in business.
mhm,
You know that too, isn't it? It's
mhm,
there's so many people on your inbox, so many people who just cold pitch very quickly,
mhm, mhm,
so many people who are not listening and don't want to get to know you.
mhm,
It's pacing ourselves, it's coming back to ourselves
mhm.
and really coming from a more relaxed kind of approach. Not that we are
Mhm.
sedated or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of course, keep your goals in mind, but it's really also standing in your femininity. Lean back, and let it also come to you and listen and get to know people and have that artistic playfulness um, of ease of life.
Mhm,
It's sometimes when I explain that, it's sometimes saying enjoy your life, stop for a moment and listen
mhm.
instead of just rushing through it.
Yeah, because that's like the woman's work is never done, right? That you kind of get into
No.
that mode of like you always have to be doing something, and we're not like you said, being in that moment where we can actually just enjoy what we've created. And as
Mm.
women, we are the best creators. I mean, we create whole human beings, right? So
Yes.
we are super creators. So I love that. Just stepping back into that feminine role. And I think there's some confusion with being feminine as being not taking inspired action or not doing. And there's got to be a balance because obviously when you are a coach or a practitioner or working with this an online business, it does require
Mm.
us to step into that inspired action mode, right?
Mm. Yeah, and it's also, if you think about femininity, also, like you said beautifully, is
Mhm.
creator energy.
Mhm.
And creativity is also stepping back and have a look at what you
Mhm.
created.
Mhm.
It's also appreciating that and coming down and receiving help,
Oh yeah.
asking
Oh,
for
totally.
help.
Yes.
And
Yes.
you know this as a
Mhm.
business coach, you know
Mhm.
this,
Yeah.
right? Uh, often we think we have to really display that we are successful, or we are having that poker face on, where we think, okay, no, I could actually cry today, but I'm not doing that, or I feel really like I'm losing it, but I'm not talking about it because I'm doing business, right?
Yeah.
And it's far better to communicate than I said, today I feel off.
Yeah.
Today I have to take a day off. We are role modeling healthy leadership in that way, feminine leadership, even though in itself, and I know a lot of people who teach polarity would say, women don't lead, Jenny. But you know what I mean? Feminine leadership is role modeling. We are role modeling. If we are not doing what we preach or what we teach, or if we burn ourselves out, then that is not a good role model, right?
Right. And it's like the energy that comes from this powerful, I'd like to say divine feminine, you know, it's the powerful, like queen's energy. It doesn't have to be loud and boisterous, and, you know, you don't have to nail it and be all alpha all the time. You can just go with the ease, listen to your body. And everybody's different, like every woman's different as well. So we all have different strengths and weaknesses, and just finding out how we can do that. And for those of you that don't know this, like Jenny has helped me so many times with just like managing, because sometimes women can go too far to the female side too, where they're, I mean, not even like having healthy boundaries. And I don't know if that would be considered going too far to the female side, but having healthy boundaries, or not feeling like they can state what they need, or, you know, but you've really helped me with like set the boundaries and then also stay within where I needed to be to have healthier relationships, and not just in my business, but with my husband, with my children, you know, it all goes together. So I love this. It's this powerful work.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I call it wounded femininity.
Yeah.
When we feel like helpless, right? Or when we feel like we should give. Giving is, for example, a very masculine attribute. We are receivers. We are receiving first before we give. We need to receive. It's really, really vital. And of course, boundaries, and some people would say again, boundaries, no, femininity doesn't set boundaries. Yes, we do it. We do it again by displaying our self-worth. Of course, we have boundaries. Boundaries are not necessarily words where I said, if you do this, then this will happen. And right? Because sometimes when we are so wounded, sometimes, and we go,
there's going to be consequences.
Yes, I tell you now. And it's like, wow, she's on fire, run, right?
Yeah.
Usually
The
not
bitch
like
queen.
the bitch queen from hell. Yeah, I know my 5 archetypes of wounded queen, isn't it? We all have that sometimes. And sometimes it's necessary. So it's not that we're being perfect, but a queen knows what her standards are. She knows how she radiates those standards, because you better step up to the plate, isn't it? If I demand that somebody's on time, responsible, authentic, everything like that, if I want to have a king in my life, I better get my tushy into gear and be the queen and display the self-worth and understand, and not feeding or focusing on things and with our attention. I always say to women, don't give somebody who has really bad behavior the attention of the time for yourself. You need to really shortly communicate. It's your time. You can't nourish negative behavior and reward it with your attention. It's not ignoring them, but saying, look, this is not on, right? I'm not expecting that. I don't want to be treated in this way, right? I would not dream of being treated in this way, because I don't do this to others. So it's like really role modeling it. It's also communicating our needs, and leading with emotions without being enslaved by them. So we let them inform us. So emotions inform us instead
Mhm.
that we become totally reactive to them. Oh,
Mhm.
we are heartbroken. You do this thing, you overstep my boundaries. Now I'm going to kill you, right? It's like that. It's not like that. It's like, hey, hold
Yeah.
on a moment. Let me think. I'm
Yeah.
really reflecting on this, and I'm actually really upset that
Yeah.
you do this. I didn't expect that to you. I saw you in a better light. I expect from you better, that you show up better, not like this. I
That's
don't know.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, things like
So,
that. So yeah.
one of the things that you and I have been talking about recently is this weird, like, time right now where we're in this digital world, right? We're online, we're in DMs, we are
Mm.
getting some different behaviors that maybe they were just in a different way before all the digital, but we were talking about like different things in the entrepreneurial world, right? Like being ghosted in business, breadcrumbing, love bombing, and these
Mm.
new things, at least I think they're new, that we are dealing with today. And it just feels gross. It feels like,
Mm.
what is happening? So
Mm.
you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, of course. Because love bombing, breadcrumbing, and ghosting in the personal, so in personal relationships, people know what that means, right? We know what that means, but I will explain that briefly because some people might not know.
Okay.
So they're around for forever. They are also around in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
But it's of course far more difficult to do it in the real world, because to do it to somebody who's directly in front of you feels really uncomfortable, because we see their reaction,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Oh, yeah.
We see their reaction.
Mm.
So it takes a lot more courage to do this to somebody if they're in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
Now in the digital world, everything becomes wider and we have more connection more than ever,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
There have been a statistic out there before, far before, and I go a little bit back now to explain why that is in the digital world,
Mm-hmm.
why we see that so much. So in the digital world, we have far more connections. There have been statistics out there before all the social media
Mm-hmm.
and everything like that, where we say, okay, let's take an average of 78 years on Earth. And on average, we will meet over 80,000 individual people in our lives. That is huge. That
Wow.
could be proper connection, right? Deep, meaningful connection to hi or stand next to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
That means you have actually quite a lot of influence.
Mm-hmm.
How you carry yourself, how you dress yourself, how you connect with people. Are you grumpy? Are you happy? Are you sharing happiness or some anger? You know, we all know that, like road rage or anything like that. You have an effect on people.
Mm-hmm.
This is now significant more in a digital age. So we are connecting, we have access to billions of users all over the world now on social media. And of course, in business or in general, business, love relationship, people look for possible partners, people look for possible clients, other people look for help, right? We can reach out to anybody. So in this world, it's of course then tempting to do certain techniques that are maybe not the healthiest ones. They are not the healthiest ones, which you will see in the private world too. So in romantic relationships or personal relationships too. So
Mm-hmm.
love bombing, for example, would be a person who would charm themselves through to your heart. They do this in a way that they don't necessarily explore you lots, that they find out who you are, because it takes a while, right?
Mm-hmm.
To find out who you are, what your hobbies are, who you are as a person, what you like, what you dislike. It takes a while to build up a
Yeah.
relationship. Not the love bomber. The love bomber will come in and say, oh, for example, in the business world, they will like lots of your posts. Then they leave maybe lots of nice comments like you are the best and wow, really love your content. Wow, this is amazing. And then they drop in your inbox. And they don't even explore who you are and say, hey, just saw this. This really resonates with me. And they just talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
They would say, you are amazing. This is amazing. I like your vibe. I have never met somebody like you, and I think you have so much potential. So they would really praise you
Mm-hmm.
in a way that is unrealistic because they know nothing about you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's alarming. That's quite toxic because then you think, okay, what's their agenda? So their agenda might be just, I sell you something because I want to hit my target, right?
Yeah.
In the romantic
Yeah.
world, it would be the narcissist who wants to be just in your pants, maybe. They just want certain things from you. And when they get it, they get it. They don't want to
Right.
know you deeper in a certain way. They just have a certain agenda,
Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's love bombing. That's not
Okay.
very healthy. It's shortcuts. It's like charming themselves through, but they don't want to actually get to know you really much. They're very unrealistic. Breadcrumbing, I put that at last. Usually that's the second step, but I tell you in a minute why. Ghosting would be people who usually stop communicating because they can't deal with conflict.
Mm.
They don't know how to deal with conflict. And that could be conflict, could be different reasons, could be, for example, that I'm really excited to work with you, but I'm unsure and I don't know how to communicate that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I can't book you yet because maybe I'm waiting for some money coming in,
Mm-hmm.
or I'm unsure. I can't talk to my partner about it because it's maybe a significant amount of money I want to invest, and I don't know how to manage that. But I really like you in some kind of way, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you communicate in the business world, and I think everybody of us had that. They're super excited, great. Everything goes well. You send them the link for booking and everything like that. And what happens? Nothing.
I've
And
had
then
that
you
happen
think,
before, so I totally get
yes,
it.
they're
It's
sweet.
I don't get it. It's like just say, for me, it's like so easy to just
Mm,
say, "Oh, it's not a good time for me right now, but really appreciate you, blah blah blah, move on." But these people that ghost, that feels like such a low vibration, and I feel
yes,
like it comes back to the person that's doing it in a very negative way,
of
like
course,
negative energy, low vibration.
of course, absolutely.
Mhm.
And ghosting is I can't tell you because if I tell you what's really going on in my world,
Mhm.
something has to change.
Yeah.
Or I can't see. I maybe disappoint you. Maybe you come on there and then you look disappointed and I can't deal with this.
Mhm.
So I'm not stepping up to the plate. What am I not? In the Queen's principles, authentic. And I don't
Yeah,
take
it's true.
responsibility.
Yeah.
And that's not graceful either.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's really those people don't take the responsibility. It's better. And you have to think about that before we come to breadcrumbing, but you have
Mhm.
to think about that. It's
Mhm.
your branding. At
Mhm.
any given moment, it doesn't matter if you're a private person or, in your business, you are always representing a vibe. A vibe
Yeah.
is a brand.
Mhm.
If you do this to enough people, the internet is not as tiny
Mhm.
as you think it is. We come across each other again. It's better
Mhm.
to say, look, I love your work. I don't know how to engage. I have a conflict in myself.
Mhm. Mhm.
And this might be a block, and I need to work on that. I know that, but I would love to keep in touch with you if that is okay.
I love
Is that
that.
possible? Is that
Yeah.
possible? I love your work. I don't want to lose the contact. I love your work. Can we maybe check in 3 months time or
So
something?
what
You
is
take
your
responsibility.
yeah,
Hmm.
so when people don't so what I'm hearing from you is when people just ghost,
Mm.
they are is it because they are fearful or afraid of the of some kind of confrontation, or what is the underlying thing with that?
Yes, yes, I have the fear to
Mhm.
confront you. And I now, in a digital
Or
world,
disappoint,
it's
I guess, too.
easy, yeah, or
Mhm.
disappoint you. In a digital world, I maybe see you not as a human being. You are a person I can watch on TV, but I don't have direct contact.
Mhm.
In the real world, it's even more difficult.
Yeah, I look at it such a, and I mean, maybe I'm wrong in this, but I look at
Mhm.
it as a very immature thing to be as well.
Yes.
And I see it as low vibe, and I'm like, especially when you
Yes.
see like women that are a little bit older, because you see it, usually you see it with like the younger crowd, like my kids age 20, whatever. But it's like when you see it more in this adult, it's like shocking to me always, because it's like it's something I would never do. So
Yes,
crazy.
it's a wound.
Mm-hmm.
Because think about that. Would you like that happens to you? No. But you do it because you can't find the words or the excuses or
Mm-hmm.
anything to talk to you about that.
Or is it a power trip too? Is it a power thing, like a control thing? Yeah. I mean, we probably go in deep, deep, deep into that. I just want to get it across to people too, that it's something that it can really sabotage you in your success, because it's putting the wrong energy out, and that kind of energy will come back. So how does this relate to like breadcrumbing? I'm so excited to hear about that too.
Sorry, yeah, breadcrumbing. Breadcrumbing is usually an indication that they will ghost you. So breadcrumbing is, for example, I explain it a little bit from the personal world, so from romantic relationships, and then I will explain it a little bit on the business side. So romantic relationships, breadcrumbing is when somebody is completely either unsure or again doesn't know how to get rid of you. They don't want to say right in the romantic relationship world.
Yeah.
They might have dated you, they're excited, but they don't know if it's really a good fit. Could be anything, any reason.
So they're unsure,
they
but they're not trying to get rid of you completely.
No.
Okay.
So either because maybe they give me something that's great, but it's not both ways. So very often we take from somebody, right? Or we think we are more value than them. We're not fitting together usually. And then we breadcrumb them. So we don't want to let go of them completely because they have some value to us. So we are feeding them slightly, a little bit. But we know actually if something better comes around, they are off. We ghost them. Or again, we don't know how to communicate to say, look, you're really great in a romantic world. You're really great. You would be a good friend, but I'm not feeling it.
Wow.
We can't do that because that would mean we need to see disappointment in somebody. They're actually a great person, right? And we feel like bad about that we can't give them what we feel they need from us. We don't feel it. So we feel a little bit sorry for them, but instead of being honest and risking that they are upset and get over it, they will appreciate that so much more than just stringing them along, because often they hope something will change into a full commitment, which is never great. Breadcrumbing is like, I ghost you for a week and then I come back. Or I send you like, I have some connection with you, but I'm not move things forward. I keep things where they are.
Okay.
I don't move things forward.
So in business, that could be somebody that you've had a meeting with or talked to on a call with about potentially working with as a client, right? And then they're saying, yeah, I'm thinking about it, but then they push you off a week, and then you touch base again, and they're like, yeah, they're very,
and you waste your time.
Yeah.
And it's really important to say to have strict boundaries and standards there that you say in the business world, as I would have in my private relationships. Is like, okay, you can understand and you can show empathy that they may be busy, right? But if that becomes a constant excuse, you need to cut them off and say, look, right, it's only gone so far. Or breadcrumbing could be also they use all your free stuff, right? All your free stuff. And I come. And they give you the hope that this will be a permanent relationship. Right? That this will be maybe a permanent relationship. Could be maybe sometimes also in the real world, in the personal world and personal relationships. Sometimes they feel, I want to be that person, but I'm not there yet for that person. So I string them along whilst I'm working on myself. That will never work. Sometimes it's very rare that happens in romantic relationships, but that can be. Sometimes we feel not good enough. We need to be there. could be again with a potential client. So a potential client in the business world can come and say, yeah, I can see this, I want to be there, but they are not admitting that they can't afford you, they don't have the time, they are unsure, they just string you along instead of saying, look, I might check in with you in 3 months, or I can't see myself at the moment.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to check in with me in 3 months. I leave it up to you. Right?
Yeah, that feels so much better. That's the way I am. I
Yes.
talked to somebody a couple months ago, and I mean, I took a couple days to think about it because I wasn't sure, but I didn't feel like it was the right time. I just told him, hey, it's not the right time for me right now, but I will definitely keep you in mind for future, future times. So what is this with how does the wounded queen or any of this wounded queen archetypes work with women supporting women? What I've noticed, and I've talked with my sister-in-law about this as well, there's a thing with it seems like it's harder for women, especially in business, to support each other, like be happy for each other, cheer each other on. Is there somewhere that fits in the wounded queen like area? Do you know what I mean?
Competition.
Yeah.
It's competition, isn't it? And this is where I mean, we have been marketing has been pushed in us into us women really badly. It's like comparing ourselves. We do the chasing. We feel now we have to fight for a guy, or we have to fight for in the business world to be top person, to look valuable. So we are taking masculine attributes on to get to the goal. So in the romantic world, it would be like I maybe use dark femininity to lure him in. So with my physical attributes I put on display, I try to make him interested. So I start not to be authentic. It's inauthentic.
Yeah. Okay.
We are not competitors.
Mm-hmm.
Women are normally the best networkers and team players. I
Right.
know that the worst wound women, there has been a very sad statistic out there. And I think Forbes in 2012 written an article about that women are actually, when they are angry or go to war with each other or with anybody, we use emotional blackmail, aka also bullying. So the
Ah.
wound shows in this way. So we drag each other from the throne because we feel we lose control, or we don't see our own value. There is a lack mindset there of there is not enough for me.
Okay.
And this is the worst what you can do. Women are usually really great in listening, should be really great in teamwork too. But when you are wounded and you become insecure because maybe somebody told you you are not good enough, so it's undigested grief from any form of relationships, that can show in this way. And now I feel I have to fight for my self-worth in a really toxic way. So I have to drag somebody else down to make myself look better. Bad thing. Also, another study was out there that showed any gossiping, backstabbing, if you talk really negative about somebody, these attributes will stick to the gossiper too. So you're not
Wow.
only
So bad
hurting,
energy. It's bad
yes,
energy.
you are not hurting only the other person. You maybe think, oh, do you know what? I tell you about this and this person. They are horrible. They don't do this. It will stick to yourself too. And you know this. You can feel it.
Yes.
Because people
You
don't
feel
want,
gross. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
it's not good. So it's the worst thing you can do.
Well, and I just feel like we as women need to build each other up and really cheer each other on to continue to rise up because, I mean, we're powerful. And I think we can make massive change in this world, giving, if we can just collaborate and work with each other and be happy for each other and cheer each other on. I love it. I think it's so important.
Yeah, and think about Jim Rohn, isn't it? He was saying you are the average of the 5 people you are mingling most with, right? Something like that. I paraphrase that slightly, but that's true. So if you're in a circle of women and they are successful or they have loving and caring relationships, or whatever you want to have, they have, and you're jealous or anything like that. Think about that. You have contact to them. They are in some of your circles. That
Mhm.
means it will rub off on you too. So don't drag that down. Don't exit the circle because you are jealous. It's not helpful. We should work on that. Work on that. Try to feel at least a little bit of gratitude that you are in those circles.
Mhm.
And yeah, best thing you can with woundedness is being authentic and
Mhm.
saying, you know what, I'm so happy for you that you are this successful, and I feel a wound in myself. I feel jealousy coming up. I feel like, why can't I create it?
Mhm.
What I've done to deserve to be there and not there, right? It's really, we need to learn to be honest
Yeah, I
in
agree.
our, and that's vulnerability, that's
Yeah.
femininity.
Well, and I love it because usually what happens with me personally is I will see somebody doing amazing. I have some amazing friends. I'm so glad that you're in my inner circle because you always rub off on me. Um, and I feel really fortunate to have that. So, one of the things that happens for me is I really get excited for my friends or these peers that I'm close to when they are succeeding. I love it. I eat it up. It's like, yes, go, 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 because I see the potential for myself at some point too, even if I'm not there yet. So, I'm cheer, cheer, cheer. And then I'll notice in myself that, well, I'm so happy for them. I want that too. And so it's like what it does for me is it propels me forward. So it's not so much of a jealous thing. It's just like, this is possible. I'm going to move forward. So I don't understand why people all can't be that way. You know what I mean? Cheering each other on and then using that as a way to grab that good energy to propel yourself forward. It's kind of like being in a mastermind or a group where people are ahead of you. It helps propel you forward. Where if you're always at the top, it takes longer to grow if everybody else is below you. Do you know what I mean? It's like, okay,
Absolutely.
does that make sense?
Absolutely. And here's one thing too. We have to understand, if we become the top alpha female, or however you want to call it, or the top person, the best, most successful person
Mhm.
in your group,
Mhm.
you outgrown your group.
Yeah, exactly. Then you have to leave and look
Don't
for another.
drop them. It's not that you should
Right.
drop them and have no
Right.
contact, but now what happened? Because you don't want to be that, because you're now the most successful person. What will you learn? They will learn from you, which is great. You should do
Yeah.
this. You
Oh my
should be
gosh. You
also
know
a
what?
mentor.
Help them,
100%.
pull them up.
Yes, pull
Yeah.
them up,
Yeah.
definitely. But make sure you have also a circle of people who are more successful,
Hmm. Hmm.
who are more further ahead of you, right?
Hmm.
Have that, and don't be jealous. Be just like, wow, they are there.
Hmm.
And that could be anything. That could be from personal development to making money,
Hmm.
from skill sets, anything like that. It's
Hmm.
fantastic.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's absolutely fantastic. Bathe in it, and you can. I can't highlight that enough. It's really being honest when you were wounded. People will see it. You can't
Yeah.
hide that.
Yeah.
The way you think will always show in your behavior, in
Hmm.
your mannerism.
Hmm.
So it's better, you know how refreshing that is, and how feminine and attractive you become in every level and
Hmm.
every aspect of life. Doesn't matter if it's romantic, friendly, or professional. When you say, I'm actually hurt, and you can say, I feel ashamed of myself that I feel this way. I don't want to feel this way, but I feel jealous.
Hmm.
I don't feel this way, but I feel like angry and upset. And I feel scared that I will never reach it, or that I will never be that person I always wanted to be. I'm hurt. And you would be amazed how people react to it. Because some people will tell you also, yeah, been there, done it, got the t-shirt.
Hmm. Got
And
the
that
t-shirt.
normalizes it. Yeah. And everything.
Well,
Oh,
and then what would come to me if somebody said that to me is I would want to help them. Like, well, let's
yes.
get you going. Let's move this. Let's keep going. I have a friend that is always, and my husband's had a friend like this too, but one of my friends who does extremely well, 7-figure coach. And she's always like, let's get you going so that we can go to those really expensive retreats because I don't want to have any broke
Mm.
ass friends out there. We want to let's help you be more successful. And my husband has a friend that was the same thing. Well, we got to get you to be more successful. This is back in the day, so that we can go to those trips to Africa, or we can, you're not left behind. And that's where they help. And
Mm.
where I feel like the help is always needed with my people or with people above me, we can all be successful. And I love it. So
Yeah,
perfect.
absolutely. And this is also asking for help. It's not that you have to demand. It's not like you need to give me this, because sometimes that's not what you need.
Mhm.
It's better to reflect on how you feel.
Yeah.
Women are not, they're so scared to say, I feel this way, because they think it's needy. But
Mhm.
it's not needy, it's honest. If you're not using it as a weapon, because
Mhm.
often women are scared that this will come across as a weapon, and maybe some wounded queens use it as a weapon
Mhm.
to get what they want, to manipulate people. But no, when you are really honest and really reflecting on where you are, that you are hurt, and that you feel this way, absolutely, like you said, people want to help you because you are genuine.
Mhm.
People will feel that.
Mhm.
And it's a lot better, and that will cut so much suffering out of any form of relationship building or business building. You would not believe it, because we complicate things. We think we need to do it all by ourselves, invent the wheel, have unrealistic expectations of how business building, relationship building, whatever you're working on is going. So it's better to be honest. And if you can't talk about it, journal.
Mm.
Honestly, journaling is the best way to do it. Get it out of your head.
I love it.
Really
Or
important.
have a good friend like you that you can
Yeah,
talk to
come
and
to
talk this
me.
out with, and like
Yeah.
flush it out and heal it. And the biggest thing that I'm taking from this conversation is to heal your wounded queen. If you're
Mm.
feeling like you have these wounded parts of you, it's just like with any kind of energy work and working through any kind of blocks, beliefs, patterns, programming. A lot of times we carry these things back from our ancestors, our mothers,
Mm.
we inherit them. It's time to heal them, and life will be so much better. Love it.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's really getting to grips, like really communicating your needs like a queen. And
Love
that
it.
means also, if you feel needy, it's okay. You can say it to your partner. I feel needy today. I feel insecure. I
Mhm.
feel like I need a hug,
Mhm.
right? I feel
And that is the
like,
feminine. That's being the feminine. It's
yes,
like, yes, I love.
yes.
That's so
And then,
perfect.
yes, absolutely. It's really important that we do this, and it's getting forgotten,
Mhm.
because we feel we need to be completely independent, no help, just suck it up, buttercup. But that's not queen energy.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's not. Allow yourself to be where you are today and feel what you truly feel. Let it out.
I love that. Okay, so how can people find out more about you? If you have some kind of a free opt-in or something, I can put the link in the show notes. But can you tell us how people can find you online?
Yeah, so the Queen's Mindset, you can find me on social media under that. Of course, you can send me also an email, Jenny at thequeensmindset.com. Jenny is Jenny. So send me an email, it's no problem. Or, of course, I give you my newsletter sign-ups, where I provide you with all the tools you need. And you get literally every week another tool to really work towards your femininity and standing truly in your queen.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Please make sure you check Jenny out. She is incredibly gifted and she is incredibly supportive. You would not lose by looking into her and using her services and her coaching, because I'm telling you, it's the next level up for your life, your relationships, all of it, because everything's connected, right? So thank you guys. Thank you, Jenny, for
Thank
being here
you.
with us.
My absolute pleasure. Thank you so, so much.